everyone, and welcome back to Chaos to Calm Budgets. This is my second video with YouTube, and it is our journey on trying to clear up our mess with debt and also build good habits of savings and sinking funds. It is a combination of budgets and looking at our expenditures and also cash stuffing and utilising the cash stuffing method as well. So this will be a review of how we are spending from our cash stuffed envelopes, a review of general spending and a review of general savings as well, and what our debt currently sits at after we've made our April payments to the debt, and obviously looking at our new total. So pulling out my Legend budget planner, let's have a look to see where we are at. So here I've got a square to fill in. So this is my weekly challenge, and this is where I'm adding the £1 on week 1, £2 on week 2, with a view that by the end of this year we're going to save £1,378. What I want to try and aim to use that money for is majority about what our yearly bills look like. That's our house insurance, my husband's car insurance, and anything else that's due in terms of any yearly subscriptions or anything. So I want to try and use that fund in January to cover all of those kind of expenses and see how we get on. Where I'm pulling this from is from our weekly spend. So it's our food, fun and fuel money that I set aside at the beginning of the month. So this is a bit of a challenge in that I'm still trying to stretch that money in terms of what we budget for, but still by adding and taking away some of this money. So this week's £14 worth is going to go into the pot. I do put the date next to it just so that I can keep track of which week I'm on, and that I've definitely added it in for this week. So I will colour in a square here, and this will be taken from the fuel budget this week, because I still have, after filling up my husband's car, which tends to last the month when we fill it up to full, I tend to have to put in another tank full in my car. However, exciting news, I have a new lease car coming via my work. So the plan is that I will sell my current car, try and replenish some of the spends that I've already spent out on this year on that car, through the MOT and its service and all the repairs that I've had to have done this just to keep it on the road, and I suppose it's because of those expenditures that led me into rethinking the offer of the lease car that I get through my work, which has been really handy. We actually got a really good offer on a car. I'm going for a BYD Atto 3. It does look really smart compared to definitely what I'm running around in at the moment. It is a runaround car. I've got a Fiat 500. It's a lovely car. It's really served me well. It's really done well over the years. I've had it, I think, about 10 years now, actually, if not over 10 years. It's a cheap and cheerful car, and it's served us really well. I just think that we've now got to a point where we're going to part ways with it while we can, try and sell it and get some money back based on what I've spent out on it this year, and try and then put that towards the debt, from particularly on the credit cards, because that's what I've had to use to pay for those repairs and try and replenish some of that. With the lease deal that we've got, we've worked out that because the lease covers the expenditures such as the MOTs and any necessary repairs. To be fair, it won't need MOT because it's a brand new car, so it won't have an MOT for the first 3 years anyway. But still, that's not for me then to worry about. It's covered tax, and because it's an electric car and all the changes to the tax thresholds and things like that, it does mean that we're exempt from all of that because that's all covered as part of my lease as well. Because again, it's an electric car, or it covers insurance as well, or breakdown. So all of that expenditure that I'd normally have out on a car is covered in the cost of the lease. And because the lease is a salary sacrifice from my wage, I get tax relief on that. It also brings me below the threshold in terms of the child benefit threshold, so I keep the full child benefit amount as well. And the tax relief means that what I would normally be spending out on my car just to keep it on the road, what I'm actually paying out on the car only works out to about 100, maybe just over £100, because I also will get the benefit of having an electric car. We are having an electric hookup fitted in the next couple of weeks, so that I will be charging more from home than using any public charges, because that is more cost effective. Particularly, we are with Octopus. I know that Octopus particularly offer a rate for electric charging of cars, so we will jump onto that rate. I think it works out well. My sister has the same car, and she's on that rate with that provider, and she said it costs her about £2 to fully charge if she's charging it overnight. So I've worked out that based on the mileage that I do with the fuel, I'm saving myself pretty much all of the fuel that I would normally be paying out on that car and the mileage that I'm doing. So super pleased that we've gone down that road. I think as well, given the challenges that we have with my son, who we're awaiting assessment, but you know is autistic, and with all his needs and the demands of all of the challenges that we have with that, the less stress I have in my life, the better. And I think that's kind of the motto that we're going with, and the ethos that we're going. If we can reduce stress in our life where we can, the better, because it makes us more available to be able to provide the care that he needs. So I'm going to mark and colour that one off and date it, and that is £105 then that we will have in that little pot that's growing. One of my other aims as well with this money, I've been a little bit jealous of a friend of mine whose husband, it's a little bit of a joke really, where he either hits the jackpot on gift giving or he completely misses the mark on gift giving. And he has hit the jackpot the last couple of years, where he has given my friend one of those Vogue advent calendars for part of her Christmas present. 4th of the 4th, 2025, and they are amazing in terms of the products that come out of there, most of them being full-size products, very high brand worth. You know, I think the actual calendar itself is around like 350, and the value of it is well over £1,000 in terms of all the products that come down. And what I also thought would be a really good idea, if I was able to get one of those for this Christmas, obviously I would take the benefit of most of the products that are in there, but if there's any particular products where I'm like, I'm not going to use that, I'm going to re-gift them, I think, and save me some pennies in terms of Christmas and things like that. So that's the plan, that I will use some of that money to treat myself, because the last couple of years I've really wanted to get, you know, a really nice advent calendar like that, but I also want to put that money towards those kind of yearly expenses that we would normally expect as well. So that's that one done. Review of our savings. So I've got an emergency fund saving going on. I didn't put anything in April because we just simply had so much debt to cover in terms of the credit card spends, particularly in relation to my car repairs. We just couldn't make it work, so I sacrificed putting in that £100. I'm still sitting at £402.90, and where I have put this money from here is into that pot there, so it is building up nicely with that, plus what's in this savings challenge as well. So I will get the benefit of the interest rate because it is in an ISA, and I'm just leaving that alone. My goal is in the next couple of years I would want to get around three months worth of our expenditures, our essential expenditures, as part of that emergency fund, and leave that, and you know, if that healthy amounts in there, it would just only slowly build up on interest anyway, and then I know it's there. I'm not too overly fussed in terms of our position around the 3 to 6 months mark of emergency fund, only because they say that if you are going to lose your job, or you know, it's handy to have that, and I agree it is. I'm very fortunate that I don't think I'll ever be out of a job. If I am out of a job, it certainly won't be for long. I'm in a profession that is much needed and always in demand. hold that thought. I'm back with you now. So the next one is here, general investment. So this is my actual investment. I've got a trading 212 account that I'm using at the moment. I'm dabbling in investment. I didn't put any again in this month because of the challenge that we had this month, and in any event it's not doing too well anyway at the moment. I'm not overly worried. It is the state of the market at the moment. I think with the chaos that's happening in America at the moment and the political decisions that are being made, it's having this impact on the trading climate at the moment. So that's the amount I've got in at the moment. It has substantially dropped to 504. It was building really nicely, but yeah, it has dropped. Again, I'm not overly worried. I think it will pick back up again. If anything, I think there may be an argument. I'm not an expert. I'm not giving any financial advice here, but I think there is an argument that actually now is the time to put some investment in, because stocks are so low at the moment. Stocks and shares are so low at the moment because of what's happened. And, you know, there is a very highly likely chance that will, you know, when things settle, it will build back up again. The market isn't going to crash anytime soon, I don't think. Again, not financial advice. I'm not an expert. I'm only dabbling at the moment. I'm giving it a go. We also save for our children. This is something we've been doing since they were born, putting in money every month. We were terrible though at it, in terms of we would build up a year's worth of savings and then we would want to use it for something, and it all got out. And you know, we had to really give our heads a wobble really on this, because one of the things, you know, when we got married, when we were together, got married, decided to have children, we really wanted to make that commitment to our children. Me and my husband, you know, no disrespect to our parents, but we weren't fortunate enough where we were in a position to get the help and support financially from our parents that some are able to get, you know, to fund through university, maybe buy your first car, you know, deposit for a house. I did get a little bit, or we did get a little bit of support from our parents when we got married and towards our wedding. But yeah, we wanted to be able to pay it forward to our kids and at least give them a helping hand. We certainly weren't going to set them up into any kids savings where they would get access to it at 18. We very quickly came away from that idea. We remember what we were like at 18. We certainly didn't want them to be in a position where they're too overly excited and then blunder all the money up. We really want to get back to a position where, had we been keeping that money, we think we would have had about that much, 19,200, by the time that our children turn 18. I'm not saying that they will get the money at 18, but at least they would have that nest egg there to put towards something substantial like a wedding, or be able to go to travel the world if that's what they want to do. If they want to you know, put a deposit down on their first house, the money is there. So we're putting away on that, and I have committed to that £100 this month. We've got £640.45 in that account at the moment. It is an investment account, so it's a trading 212. My husband's running that one. It's not doing too well again at the moment, but we're not overly concerned about that. The reason we're doing it as a trading 212 or within the stocks and shares format is because we want to try and recoup some of the money that would have been in there from compound interest if we'd kept the money in there and not spent it. So that's what we're trying to do there. And then our final pot really on our long-term savings is the 40th trip that we're planning to do next year for my 40th with my friend or our friends. My husband's best mate, they turned 40 within days of each other last year, and we did a fabulous trip to San Francisco and Vegas over 7 days. Absolutely fantastic trip. Truly recommend San Francisco. It was amazing. We really want to go back and revisit there, and we want to do the same for us as the wives, and we are really close. We're best friends as well, so yeah, we're going to go and enjoy that. So we're saving for that and for Christmas, so £200 a month goes in for that every month. We're at £803.39. that's in a long-term ISA. as well, so that will be accumulating some interest. I think we've earned about £3 something, or £3.39, as that's been building up. So not a lot, but it will build up, it's fine. We do have our debt tracker here, but we have more debt than this because we've got the credit card. So I'm not going to go over this because I've got a new sheet that I'm using, and I'll pull that out in a minute. So that's where we're up to with that. Let's look at our spends for this month then. So far, as you can see, I've had some bills go out. I'm still waiting for some other bills to go out. Still haven't had my bill from Severn Trent, so I don't know what the monthly cost of that is yet. It hasn't gone out of my account either yet, so I've just put £100 there. The reason that is so high, just so that people are aware, we pay rates. We are staying at rates. I am dabbling with the idea of going on to a meter, or at least trialling a meter. I know that they do allow you to go back to rates if it doesn't work out any better, but we just feel that the rates were probably less, if not on par with, and guaranteed that we're not going to be hit with regular high usage bills. I have to worry about the usage of our water, although morally we should really have a view of how much water we use, but still we just felt that the rates was a better option for us, and we pay that over 8 months, so rather than the 12, so we have a 4-month break, and that falls over the Christmas period, which is always handy as well. So we get a break from December, January, February and March. So with that plus the council tax break, we do get that relief over that period over those bills, which is always nice and handy, and we tend to put that towards holiday or holiday spending or something like that in the past anyway, and that's what I'm hoping to do again in the future. So still waiting for that bill there. Obviously all the others have gone out. I am keeping a close eye on it. I do regularly check when bills go out, how much have we still got left, how much have we got left in our account, just to make sure that we're on par and we can pay it. We are slightly under what we need at the moment, because I have, for my job, I have to pay a registration to be a registered practitioner in what I do, and that just came out at £45. My work do reimburse me for that, but they've already given me the reimbursement in preparation for this in a previous month's wage, so it's not there, and I did forget that I needed to account for that, unfortunately. So with currently that would be £45. However, with some of these being lower already, and some of other expenditure, I think I had some vintage money that went in, it's not actually that bad, and I think there is some savings to be done in some of the kids activities, which I'll go through in a minute, which will hopefully compensate for some of that. So that should all go swimmingly in that respect. So let's have a review of how much is left in our cash stuffing for the kids activities. We've already had a kickboxing cancelled, so I'm going to take some money out of the envelope for that and put it into spare, because that might then go towards that underspend, the under amount that's in our current account at the moment, so that'll be helpful. So I will use my a pen, and I will tick off where we are at. So my husband did Dad v Dad's football, £6. That's already accounted for down here, so I already deduct that from there. I don't need to worry about that. We've had a football session there and a kickboxing session there. That's gone. Obviously, I've done a food shop this week. My little boy will have football there. We also have, because I do from the 28th when we get paid, so there'll be a football and a nails that I've already paid for there that can come out, and on the football on the there and the guides there. So we'll count up at how many more we've got left. So let's pull my envelopes out to get that ready. Haircuts. I need to replenish £30 into this envelope for haircuts. I did borrow £30 out of there. It is in our joint bank account. I just need to go and withdraw the money. I may put some of the underspends in there and just withdraw less money out of it. But my daughter did some sponsorship for her guides, and she needed to pay the sponsorship. Some relatives and friends had transferred some money into my bank account, but she needed to get the cash sponsorship in. So I need to put the money back into there. So at the moment, I think there will be £50 in this envelope here. I'll put it into view. 20, 30, 40, 50. And then I just need to put another 30 in there to make that back up to 80. My husband and my son have their haircuts coming up on the barbers on the 12th. So that money's there ready to go. My daughter also has a a haircut coming up on the 22nd. So again, I will pull from there when we do that. So for football, we've got 1 football, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 football sessions. So that should be £45 that I will need, because they are £5 a session. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. £5 spare. Going to put that there. I think that's because my husband doesn't need to pay the £5 on his Wednesday session every week. I think it may be every other week. But just to be sure that we're not owing money, I always over, and then when I've got spare, it comes in handy. So my daughter's kickboxing, one's already been cancelled. So we're going to have 2 more kickboxing sessions this month. That'll be £10 because they're £5 a session. 5 and 10. £5 spare there because one's been cancelled. So £10 up already. That'll be amazing. Help towards that. Guides. She needs to take in her £10 for her trip, so I'm going to try and get her to do that next Monday when she goes, and that'll be out of there. And then she's got one session, and then it's Easter holiday, so I counted in for that, and so that will be actually £2 that I don't need out of there. So I'm going to take that £2 coin out and then put that into extras. So she's got £1 there. Nails, I had £1 spare from my nails, so I've already put that £1 in there. And as you can see, when I'm ready to do my cash stuffing, unstuffing back into the bank, I've got my placeholders ready. I printed them off onto some glossy paper that I had spare, cut them out, ready to go for that. So I'm excited to start using those. So I'm going to add that spare into there, and if I need to pull on it at any point, it's there. That's all of those then. I won't look at the long-term spends there. I trust that everything is in there. Nothing's been touched in that for now. Although what I might do, because I have spent some pennies on some house improvements and paint for our garden. Patio's looking sublime. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that it's been so much more sunnier this week as well. So I'm so excited to get back out there, back out into the sun, and on a nice new patio with our furniture. Chef's kiss, can't wait. Okay, I don't think there's anything more for us to review in this book. The only thing I want to do now is I started making a note of my son's activities. It's football gear there really. We have I will sort of talk about it more, but we have been, I've put it on it for ready for next month. We've been awarded DLA for my son, and a lot more than what we were expecting either. I think the dilemma when it comes to children with disabilities is that families learn to live with it, and I think we normalise the norm. So when we put down on paper what the level of care that we have to deliver to my son, I think it was obviously more substantial than what we thought and what we were anticipating. So we were awarded that level, and the weight off our shoulders now in terms of how much more support we can give to our son, and particularly around his one-to-one footballs, because the level of inclusion that offers him in something, an activity, because he does struggle in the other football sessions. He doesn't enjoy them as much. He still wants to go, and that's what we will continue to support, but I think he really benefits from those one-to-one football training sessions. So they're £25 a pop, so having access to that additional spends, the amount of fidget toys we have to spend and pay out on, because they slowly get worn through, or lost or thrown or whatever. It's just little things like that, the nuances of the additional challenges of what comes with disabilities, and it's a massive help. We're very grateful to be in a country that we get that additional help, and I pay a lot of taxes, and I'm glad that we can reap some of the benefit of what our social society offers. Anyways, enough of the political talk. We have also starred where we've got the Easter holidays, Easter bank holiday, because we've got some activities planned for that. So keeping that in mind in terms of how I fit that within the budget as well. I'm going to put this away, and this scraggly little sheet is going to turn into something different in a minute, and I'll pull that out in a minute. This is what I was looking at. I've already put my sums in for this month, because we've made all of our payments for this month from our monthly wage onto our debt. So I am going to start. I've got my nice little folder, printed off some sheets. I've got a debt tracker and a savings challenge tracker. So that's my longer term from my pink folder. So I might get that out in a minute and just fill in those as well. And I've printed off one per month. So let's review. So let's fill this in. Let's go for a colourful pen. Purple. Love a bit of purple. So this is for April 2025. And I'll list down the debts. So we've got some money on an Argos card. The current amount is £522.95. Actually, that's what, yeah, so we paid £0. So that still remains the same. It's £2.95. I've got my Amex card. My Amex card has gone up, and rightly or wrongly, we were hoping to get some form of I don't know, relief or payment towards a at-home charger as part of the lease scheme through my work, or at least a grant or whatever. The grants from the government stopped a good 2-3 years ago apparently, and my work, even though my sister's work, who were with the same provider in terms of lease companies, did offer that discount or incentive for an at-home charger. I didn't seem to get that offer, so I've had to pay outright for that, and it was an investor save decision. We know we didn't really have the money already, as you all know, so yeah, the £899 that has cost to put that installed and get that booked in at home has been added to the credit card. However, the likelihood is that will be paid off either from the sale of my car or next month's spares to pay towards debt. So that is currently sitting at, I'm going to add it into there because I'm going to put last month's there, what we paid and what it is here. But I won't do that on camera because I'll have to go back and have a look. Then we've got the dining room table and mobiles, phones. That is currently sitting at 1,566 and 82. Mr. B's credit card. We paid about £200 to that, I believe, but I will go and double check just so that I can keep my records up to date. A reason I want to keep it all written down is because it's nice to see traction. I think it's motivating when you can see that things are going in the right direction. We've got a furniture loan for the fitted furniture for my kids' bedrooms, and that's sitting at £4,344.18. Then I've got my Virgin credit card, which is sitting at interest free at the moment until October. That's £11,384.58. And then magnet loan for our kitchen, 16375.68. And then Tesco loan. This is the biggie, which is at 36,786.40. So I've already calculated that up. So that's a total of, I'm going to change my colour, go for a pink. We're at £75,237.91. And even though I put that extra money on the Amex card to pay for the charger, we are down. Change my colour, keep it nice and colourful. down by £895. Oh, £895.37. Goal still remains that we will be debt free in 3 years. So let's keep that under monitor. My other page, savings challenges. This should be fairly simple. I'm not going to do a count up because nothing has changed since I stuffed it, but I did keep a record on the front of each of them. So I'm going to keep the current deposit balance and any notes there. Let's do it in a nice blue. So all of this would have been 0 at the beginning of the month. Deposit, so £20 in that one, still present. Pressure washer, these are things that we're saving for. I've got a phone repair to do. I don't want to go on my house insurance. Pressure washer would be helpful to keep patio and driveway nice and clean. Our vacuum is on its way out, so we want to start saving for a new one. I'm putting £20 in there at the moment. Car maintenance, this is for my husband's car, any repairs and MOT and service. We've deposited £100 in there. And then house maintenance, so this is where I've actually spent some pennies, and I have spent over the £50 that's in there at the moment. I will keep that there for the moment, but what I will do is take the £50 out because that is spent, because it'll have to go on to pay off some of my credit card, because that's what I put the paint on. And then it was over £50, so what I'll do is the £50 I would normally put in for next month, I'll only put in that minus the overspend on there. Travel spending money is £100. Our 2026 holiday, £60 deposit, and our anniversary trip is £30 for next year. So that would have been a total of £400. And then what I will do is when we come to next month, when it comes to the house maintenance, it will be back to 0, because I'll put here, I'll put up my notes, spent £50. There we go. I think that then covers this month's spend. I'm going to find another envelope, I think, and put another sheet in there to put like spares, or whether I keep it in the back there. Maybe I'll keep it in the back there. Keep it to one side so I know that it's spent. There we go. That is it for today then, guys. Hopefully this is something that you're enjoying watching. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching the video. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try and be consistent, keep posting every week. And hopefully we'll see you all guys, speak to you all again soon. And do subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.